Hello everyone and welcome back to Eat Sleep Brief. Today we're going to be covering a really nice modification for the Jebao DP-4 dosing pump. So a really thing I kind of didn't like about this pump, especially after using it. Most of our sumps are located down low and we don't have much clearance as far as being able to poke your head in it. So pretty much when you put this pump on a shelf, you kind of see this. But as you can see, all the programming is done on the very top. Excuse me, so it's kind of difficult to program it. I notice every time I program it, I gotta lift it up, bring it forward, and then tilt it to me. And it just, to me it was a little bit inconvenient. I come from a background of loving to DIY stuff, loving to make my own things. For me, that's really never been an issue at all. So in today's video, we're going to be covering a really nice vertical modification you can do to your auto dosing pump. It's very simple to do. The only tools really needed are a screwdriver, Phillips head, like so, and you're also going to need a Dremel. Now, what's going to happen is this pump, obviously you can't operate it like this because the heads need to be vertically. Or horizontal, I guess, however you want to put it, but they need to be horizontal like this, so they can't be straight down, or else they're not going to operate correctly. I'm sure they probably will work, but they won't be very accurate. So in doing that, in a perfect world, of course, we can mount this like this, but then obviously this is not going to work. So we're going to end up doing this whole control board or circuit board here. We're going to end up flipping it and mounting it right here. So if you guys may be watching this video and say, well, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do that. Well, I'm gonna be walking you step by step so you can see really how easy it is, and it's not difficult at all. And also, in my opinion, it's a lot nicer and cleaner to mount on your setups. Most of our cabinets are wood, so it's very simple to drill this on there, and I'm gonna show you guys how we're gonna be doing everything today. So let's crack it open and show you guys how to get in this thing and really look at the guts and start dissecting it to show you guys how to do this modification. So to get into the guts of this pump, it's actually very simple. All you need to do is remove the 8 tabs. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 more on the opposite end, being the bottom. And they're actually very simple to remove. You may have an issue when you first remove them. They're not going to be that easy to remove, but yeah. So let me show you here how you do this. So this one you can see didn't take much pressure. This one didn't take much pressure either. Around. This one here is being a little bit stubborn. And when they're stubborn, what I do, just get a little key. There we go. And take that off. And then we flip it on its back, and you do the same. You're going to notice the ones on the bottom are actually, well, I got these off already. You're going to notice sometimes 2 are difficult than the rest, but where it is hard, what you can do, this one's being a little bit harder. Okay. Oh, there we go. So you can see the 2 bottom 2 took a little bit more elbow grease, but it honestly wasn't that hard at all to do. So once you have that removed, you're going to be looking at it and saying, well, it's kind of not coming apart. Well, I'm going to show you here very easy how to get it apart and then get all inside it. So I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but there's 2 tabs. You can see a tab right there, a tab right there. And then on the opposite bottom side, there's also 2 tabs. You'll see when we open it how it looks. So if you want to fast forward to look at the inside, you can do that so you can have a better idea of exactly what we're trying to do. But in theory, all we're trying to do, obviously I only have 2 hands and I need both hands. I'm holding the camera with one, so I'm gonna have to set this down here. But I'm gonna give you guys an idea of what I'm doing. So all I'm doing, getting the screwdriver, pushing the tab out like that, and then lifting, and then pushing it out right there, and then lifting. And then you'll see this whole thing pretty much. All right, so now that we got the camera set and my hands are free, you want to open this upside down. And I'm going to show you, once we have it open, you're going to see why, because everything is attached to the top of this plastic piece. So You want to flip it over, locate the tabs, and the tabs are only on one side. You're going to see the other side doesn't have it, only one side. In my case, it's on the left side. If you're reading the name, it's on the left side. So put the pump upside down. Remember, press the tabs out, and there it is. You can see it didn't even take any pressure, it just pretty much lifted on its own. And the opposite end, you can either use a little bit of elbow grease to get it up. If you don't want to use elbow grease, use the same technique to lift up the tabs. Okay, there we go. And you can see, once you do that, there's nothing attached to the bottom of it, and that's why you want to flip it upside down so stuff doesn't come flying out. So once we have it open, this is what you're going to have. You're going to have the backboard here. This one also slides out. You can see it's only guided with that, and it's only being held in. Not by force, but more by just the way it's designed. You can see I can easily lift it up, and it just locks in with these little channels here. They're like little L channels, but you got to make sure it slides in and it's not obstructing the connection right there, and that's how you know exactly where it goes. So the front end of it, which is this is actually where we're going to be flipping. This also comes out the same way as the rear. It's literally just slides. You can see here, there's nothing holding it on. The top piece just kind of locks it into place right there, and that's really the only thing holding this thing together. So I want to give you guys a quick understanding of what everything is, or at least a general understanding. So the front piece here, we have a little circuit board that distributes the power mainly to the lights, because the power to the motors are being done through here and they're going back here to the main controller. So the only thing I believe is coming through here is just power for the individual LEDs. I don't think it's really doing anything else. So that's a front end of it. As far as the back end of it here, this is your LCD screen. So I believe all of the programming is stored in this chip here in particular, but I think it's all stored in this board. You can see it has a battery there, so when you disconnect it from power, it's still keeping time and still stores your programming. So I'm pretty sure if down the road, if you have issues that when this thing shuts off, it erases, it's probably the battery that's gone bad. So you can, go ahead and replace it. But like I said, that'll probably take a really, really, really long time. So yeah, that's the LCD board. And then back here, this is what distributes the power to the motors. I think these things here are the MOSFETs for the speed controllers on the motors. I'm not sure if it is or isn't. I can see a capacitor there. But like I said, we're not going to get too into detail of exactly what this thing consists of. But the reason I'm explaining everything to you guys, because we are going to have to take it apart. Since we are going to be doing cutting on this piece here, I don't want anything to get onto here. So I'm going to remove everything, pretty much gut it out. And that's going to give us access to getting everything out and being able to cut it and work on it. So to remove the backboard here, there's 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then to remove the LCD board, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws. So all I'm gonna be doing right now is removing those carefully, and we're gonna set them here on this piece right here. And yeah, that's pretty much what we're gonna be doing. And the only tool needed right now is a Phillips screwdriver. Alrighty, so we're gonna start by removing all the screws. And be sure, guys, not to lose the screws. Put them all here on the back. And obviously when you are doing this work, you want to do it with no power connected to it. That kind of goes without saying though. Anytime you're working on any electronic, you want to be sure it's disconnected. So okay, I got all the screws removed for the LCD board. And then now I got almost. We got all the screws here. Okay, one more screw. All right, so now we got everything removed as far as the screws are concerned. So what we want to do, let's get this piece out, and you can set this aside. And now you can literally just pick up everything and transfer it over. You can see here, this is the controller that we were talking about that distributes the power. And then right here we have the LCD screen with the whole buttons. And then get these two together, lift this up. And there you go, guys. We literally have all the guts in our hands. We put those aside, and this is what we're gonna be working on. So what we're gonna be doing, let me kind of give you an idea of how this is gonna work. So let me set this right here. Let me disconnect this little ribbon cable so it allows me to flex it. And the ribbon cable I just removed is this one right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It literally just comes right off. And what we're gonna be doing, to give you guys an idea, we're gonna be mounting this like that. Obviously it's gonna be higher, but in doing so, put everything back. In doing that modification, you are gonna have to cut pretty much this whole chunk of plastic. So that's what I'm gonna be using the Dremel, but you're not gonna see this, and you guys are gonna see towards the end. The reason you're not gonna see it is because this whole thing is gonna cover it. So, you know, if you do it right, you're probably not gonna notice. Just imagine this piece here in the back being this piece. Just use your imagination. It's gonna go like that. So that's it. You know, no one's probably gonna notice. The only person that's gonna know is you. And it's gonna be a lot easier to mount it. You're gonna see towards the end here how we're gonna be mounting it. And I think you guys are gonna love it. It's gonna be probably give you a lot more room in your sump. And I think all around you guys are really gonna love this modification. So what I'm gonna be doing right now is getting a straight edge, like a ruler or a letter, something to mark my lines and see how far I wanna cut. So I'm probably not gonna record that. I'm gonna show you guys when it's fully done and marked. I'm gonna show you what I used to measure it and why I went so far, and you're gonna pretty much understand why I did the lines the way I did them. So let me get my Sharpie out, get my straight edge, and make my markings. All right, so I used this little angle here. I kind of put this up like that, and that gave me my straight line. And then you can either use a pen, a Sharpie, or in my case, a pencil. But actually, guys, I'm gonna make it very simple for you. It's probably hard to see on the video. I don't know if you can see, but when they molded this plastic, there's a line. I'm gonna draw it out right here, right here, right here. And you can see it right there. Pretty much, if you draw a straight line from the bottom of this piece, not the top, the very bottom, from there all the way there to join with that line, to join with that line, and then again going all the way to there, that is your cut. So we're gonna be cutting away. I'm gonna draw the box here. We're gonna be cutting up to this plastic piece. All of this here up to here is all gonna be cut away. And what that's gonna enable us to do is for these motors to slide in. And it's probably hard to imagine right now. If you guys wanna fast forward the end of the video so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. You know, actually, before you guys do this, I really recommend you watching the full video, then probably going back, you know, just to the key points that that I'm covering so you can see exactly how to do it. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna get my Dremel out. I'm gonna get the cutting wheel, and if you want, I'll show you guys on camera exactly what it looks like so you have an idea. And we're gonna pretty much start cutting away. All right, so excuse the lighting in here. I know it's not ideal. It's in my garage and I don't have much lighting, but the cutting bit I'm gonna be using is this one here. Dremel sells it, and it's specifically for plastic. So it's nothing fancy, just a cutting bit. And if necessary, I'm gonna use a little sanding drum at the very end to clean it up. So you wanna make sure you guys have your glasses on, because there's gonna be probably plastic flying, and a lot of times it's gonna be hot. Last thing I want you to do is, you know, damage your eyesight. And you can see why we removed everything, because there's gonna be, you know, plastic flying. Last thing I wanna do is get on the electronics. Not that you would hurt them, you can easily blow it off later, but, you know, to me this just seem easier. So the first cut I'm gonna do is right up to here, and then I'm gonna just come right across. All right, here, so you can see the very first cut I did, you actually have to cut it from the bottom side, just because from the top side, the Dremel doesn't fit. I'm sure if you have a different Dremel, a smaller one, you may be able to do it. But you can see it's gonna be an angle cut if I go like that. So I actually had to do it from the bottom and come right across, and you can see it actually came out very clean. Let me, here, bring it up to the camera. You can see it there, very clean cut. And remember, you don't wanna go up to that. I actually went a little bit behind that tab, so later I can come with the sanding drum and go right up against it if need be. So the next one I'm gonna cut is the other side, and using the same technique. It's actually harder because I'm right-handed. I gotta kind of flip it like this, so I'm gonna attempt my best to cut it like so. And I wouldn't worry too much of any burrs you get like that, like plastic. While it's hot, you can see, you can clean it off like that. It actually came off really easily, but you kind of want to do it while it's hot. So the next cut we're gonna do is literally from here to here. Being that I probably can't cut from the bottom side, just because this is in the way, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna probably get a piece of tape and join it from the very top going right across, and that'll give me the line. So let me get the piece of tape out so I can do that line. So nothing fancy here, we're just using regular electrical tape. And all I'm doing is joining the two lines because it's easier, I'm noticing, to cut it from the top than it is from the bottom, if you would, where that's at. So I'm pretty happy, that looks pretty square to me. So now we're all right, so there you can see the whole thing comes off. So you end up with this. Now you can come in with a sanding drum if you want to clean it up a little bit. I'm actually not too worried about it because you're going to see once we put the board on here, it's going to seal it up and it's going to be very, very sturdy. So pretty much this is what you end up with when you're done here. So you can see right now we're going to take it inside, make sure we don't have any more plastic anywhere. I'm actually very, very happy how this came out. So let me just clean up the plastic here a little bit, and then we're going to take you guys inside to show you guys how it came out. Okay, so we got everything removed. The only thing I didn't show on camera that I was doing right now, you're going to see on one side it has a connector. Now this is a connector that distributes all the power to the LED, so you're going to have to cut a little bit further on one side than the other just to accommodate that connector. But you can see that was actually done very simple. I did that with the sanding drum, and that was very easy to do. So now we can go ahead and assemble it. So the assembly is pretty much the opposite of how we took it apart. You want to assemble it obviously upside down. So again, how we grabbed everything, just pick everything up, bring it right over. And the only thing kind of to be careful here with is the buttons on the LCD. You want to make sure they kind of line up, but as long as your holes line up, the buttons should line up as well. So then you want to get all your screws. So I'm mounting one board first, make sure I have all 4 screws. Okay, now that I got all 4 screws, remember guys, you don't need to over tighten this. It is going into plastic, so you can easily strip the threads, and you do not want to do that. No big, if you do strip one thread, it's not a big deal. But you know, just hand tighten them, or finger tight is good. And the same technique for the board. Get all the screws lined up first, just to make sure it's nice and square. And you guys can see this project actually, if I wasn't recording on camera, I would have been done a long time ago. This was actually my first time doing it. It's not like I can practice with it, but it looked very straightforward. Now you guys may be looking at it now and saying, well, how the hell am I gonna hold it together? Well, I'm gonna give you guys some options here right now. As soon as we got all these screws in. So there we go. Okay. You can see just how simple these dosers are. There's really not much going on with them. They're very simple. I mean, it's not something you could make at home unless you're good with like the Arduino boards. You could do it at home. But I mean, it's not super complicated. So before I seal this up, I'm obviously going to seal this up to finish off this video. But you guys may be saying, well, how am I going to mount this? Well, it's actually very simple. This is the bottom of the plate here, right? So let me put the camera a little bit higher. So this is the bottom of the plate. This is a plate that's going to be the back side. You're not going to see it. These are the little guys that go on here to kind of dampen it. But anyways, the way you attach this is literally 2 screws anywhere you want. Ideally, I would probably do it down the middle. You can do them on the top, wherever you want. 1 screw there, 1 screw there, and you literally call it a day. It's actually very, very simple to take apart, and it's nice that the whole top piece comes off all together. So you can easily mount this up. Obviously, before you mount it, take it apart, mount this on the wall, and it'll literally all lock into place. Because you can have these installed before you put it onto the wall. And actually, that's what I'd recommend. I mean, unless you don't want to soft mount it to the wall with these little grommets, you can go ahead and leave them off. But I feel it dampens the vibration a little bit. You can see there, that's how you install them. So what you would do, you would drill your pilot holes first, then you drill it right into whatever you're gonna put it on. If you want to put it on your wall next to your tank, if you want to put it in your cabinet, if you want to put it on your, whatever you want to put it on. You'd put that first, and then you'd lock this piece here into place. So just for video's sake, we're gonna finish assembling this. So you wanna make sure that these line up here with the power and the auxiliary port, which is if you're running a slave unit. There we go. And you can verify those locked into place like that. And oh, I got this whole thing tangled up. It goes like that. So, also another thing you want to do is make sure you hook up your ribbon cable here if you did disconnect it. If you didn't disconnect it, no big deal, you don't gotta worry about it. Make sure all your motor wires are plugged in. Okay, everything looks good. Very straightforward, just brushed motors here. And then we can actually go ahead and assemble it. So we're not gonna put this piece on first. We're just gonna let it kind of dangle there. And these only go in one way. You can see only 2 sides have tabs, the others don't. 2 sides have tabs, the others don't. So where there is tabs, you want to make sure it's not hitting the other tabs on the opposite end. So you're going to want to flip it. That's the easiest way to figure it out. And obviously make sure that this guide here goes into this channel here, and that's going to lock it into place. Okay. There you go, you hear it pop, everything's good. Doesn't mean you broke it. You want to turn this bad boy over. Holding your pumps. You can lock these guys down too. Because remember, once you put this on, you can't really take these off. I mean, you can, but I'm going to show you how we do this. Okay. So you can see there, you now got it, fully done up. Now, a few guys may be saying, well, there's a big old hole on the bottom. Well, if that hole really, really, really bugs you, what you can do, let me show you right now. Is, I can't believe how simple this thing is to take apart. It's so crazy. But if that hole really, really bugs you, what you can do is use this. Oh, well, it doesn't want to come off right now, but trust me, it comes off. Use this as your template, and you can cut it out of wood, cut it out of cardboard. I'm probably going to do it later, but I'm going to do it out of cardboard, and that will be your seal for the front. Or you can put electrical tape, I mean, whatever you want to do. So let's put this bad boy back. Remember the tabs on the opposite end. Make sure your guides slide in. Okay, we got a pop. And you can see this is going to go right here. Make sure all your wires are freed up. Make sure nothing's getting tangled or anything like that. And it's crazy, you can see Jebao, they have more than enough room to set up the doser this way. It would have been so much easier to tinker with it. I mean, I don't know why they didn't do it, but anyways. So now you guys may be saying, well, great and all, but these things are dangling everywhere, so how do I put this down? Well, you have a few options. You can use hot glue. Hot glue will work great. The method I'm going to be using is double-sided tape. Now this double-sided tape is one you find at the Home Depot. I'm bringing it out here in a little bit so you guys can see. But all I'm going to be doing is applying the double-sided tape to here, here, and here. And you guys are going to see it's not going to come off. I mean, I trust that tape a lot. And then once it's all done, it's going to look literally like that. So you can see it's so much easier to use this way. I mean, I don't know why Jebao didn't either put this screw. Well, I guess because they wanted to keep it compact. But yeah, it's so much easier to use like that. You can mount it up against the wall. So what we're going to do now is go get the tape, and we're going to go ahead and show you guys how we tape this up to how we tape it up to this top mount. Alright, so this is what the tape looks like. They sell it in a smaller package, and I buy the bigger roll. This stuff is really good. I use this for a lot of the drones I build, so I trust this tape a lot, and I know how strong it is. It's really, really strong, but if I do need to remove it down the road, it can be removed very easily. So the way I'm going to do it, I'm not going to put it on the board itself. I'm actually just lining this whole piece here with tape, and I'm actually going to be doing double layer. And the reason I'm going to be doing double layer is the bottom of the board. It's kind of difficult to show you guys. The bottom of the board has these little like solder tabs that they attempted to cut off, but they didn't cut them off flush. I'm sure if I came in with some flush cutters, I don't have any here, but that would take care of that. And the reason I'm going to double layer it is so it gives it more cushion, so it's not rubbing against the plastic. Plastic is not conductive, guys, so don't worry if it is rubbing the plastic. It's not going to conduct electricity, so I would not be worried at that whatsoever. And like I said, that's the reason we're double layering this. So, right about there. Actually, I can cut this in half and just use it for both sides. So, okay. Okay. And then the top piece, wow, it's going to be a big piece of tape. But it is what it is. Unless, you know what, unless I just, yeah, you know what, I think I can fold it over. Yep, yes I can. So let me first make my initial cut. Alrighty. So just doing the initial cuts here. We're literally gonna fold it over like a taco. And trust me guys, this stuff is, or this board here is never, ever, 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 ever coming off. If I want to take it off, I can. But you're going to see right now it's very strong. Okay. Here, just exposing the tape. And honestly, you know, if your buddies came over, even your buddies that are into reefing and they know what a doser is, they would see this and they wouldn't even know that you modded this. They'd have absolutely no clue. So there's a little reference line that I'm using. It's the same line that's up here, except it's on the bottom, and that's how far I want this board to go. So as far as that goes, we're done. All we gotta do now is line it up, making sure you have it lined up, because when she's on, she is on. Okay, my spacing. Actually, one thing I just noticed, on this one on the left, the tape cannot be protruding at all. I just noticed that. But no biggie, you guys saw it's really easy to remove. So make sure all my lines are correct, my spacing is correct, and I think we're good to go. Let me push it up against this. Look at that, guys. Tell me that is not the best doser you've ever seen. And trust me, this, I'm literally, it's not coming off, as you guys can see. Now there is a trick to this tape to get it off. The way I've found this tape can come off is if you twist it. Now it's gonna take a lot of strength, but it's easier to get it off like that than it is like that. So if I really wanted to get it off, I would work, you could see even like this, it doesn't want to give. But eventually if I twisted it, I could get it off and it'd be a lot easier than yanking it apart. Look at that. It's so strong, it yanked the two sides apart. So you guys can see, don't hesitate using this tape. I recommend this because it's removable. If you want to use hot glue, you can use hot glue. But my personal opinion, I like this a lot better. But that's pretty much it, guys. The only thing that I am going to be doing down the road, probably off camera, is just sealing the bottom. And like I said, all I'm going to do is use this back piece as my template on a cardboard, and then I'm going to put it right there. I'll probably cover the cardboard in like electrical tape on the bottom so you don't see it. Or if you don't want to do all that work, you can just put a little bit of electrical tape here. And I wouldn't worry about anything getting in because this is obviously the bottom. Typically, if water does splash onto it, it's gonna come from the top down. And even then, these things aren't waterproof to begin with, so water could have seeped in from, you know, somewhere else initially. So if you do really have that much water going around this thing, you got other stuff to worry about. But that's pretty much it, guys. You can see we really didn't take away from the look, and for sure it didn't take away from the buttons as far as using it's concerned. You can see there, it's very simple. You can easily mount it up to a wall. And the one thing I do want to say, you will have a small overhang. I don't know if you guys can see the overhang there on the bottom. It's very, very little. Now, if that overhang bugs you a lot, you can scoot this up, but then you're gonna start blocking or wait, will you? You may be able to scoot it up all the way to the letters. Actually, you may actually be able to just scoot it up to the letters. I just realized that. Huh. See, you learn something every day. I kind of like it better like that. I like it all the way flush to line. So I guess you guys can decide. I'm personally going to leave mine the way it is. If you want yours to not have that little tiny overhang on the bottom, you can scoot it up so it's flush to the bottom of the letters, and that'll take care of that. But I'm very happy with how mine came out. If you guys want to tinker with yours, you can. And like I said, when you're ready to mount this, I'm going to quickly give you guys a little thing here on how you would mount it. So holding the bottom piece like that. Okay. Oh, this whole thing's falling apart. Oh. Okay, there we go. So when you're ready to mount this, you're gonna remove this whole top piece and you're gonna go to your wall and you're gonna mount this. Let's assume this is my wall and I have it mounted with the 2 screws. I would then come back. You can see I would come back like this, guide it into place, snap it in, and you're done. You got it mounted on the wall. Same when you're ready to remove it from the wall, just come pry it apart and then remove the 2 screws and you're done. So that's gonna be it for today, guys. For today's video, I really hope you guys enjoyed it today. It actually was very fun. I really enjoy doing DIY stuff. I don't know if you guys have noticed. It's a lot more gratifying for me. You know, it makes me feel like I did something for my tank, for the fish, for the corals, for everyone. I don't know, it just gets me more attached to my reef tank. But like I said, that's just me. But yeah, you guys saw it's not very difficult. It's very simple. If I wasn't here, you know, talking about all these tips and recommending, you know, how to do it and explaining, I would have been done with this. I kid you guys not, in 4 minutes. I would have completely been done with this. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, be sure to check me out. I'm a very social guy, especially on Instagram. I'm always posting stuff, great content. You guys are really gonna enjoy it. And if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down in the comment box below. If you're not subscribed to my channel, guys, be sure to subscribe. If you are subscribed, please, guys, hit the bell. Hitting the bell gets you notified immediately as soon as a new video goes up. So you can check it out, be the first person to check out the video. And yeah, guys, that's going to be it for today. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Alright, guys, you can see here I have them both. I have 2 dosers actually mounted. I did this conversion to 2. You can see here how the back plates, I took them off from the back plate, 2 screw holes, so you guys can get a better idea. A screwdriver, a leveler, and some drill bits, and obviously a drill, and that's pretty much it. You can see it saves tons of room, especially in a small tank like mine. You just need to clean up the wiring right now since I was moving everything around, but you get a better idea.